Hi, Richard Muse here, Sell with Richard. Another question I get asked is, can I sell my house to an investor? Well, you can sell your house to anyone, but you know, if you're selling to an investor, it has to tick a few different boxes than if you were selling to a pure residential buyer. First of all, investors are looking for a decent return, so a decent yield, what we call a yield. Now, in the northeast, generally, they're looking for at least 10% plus. Some people will take less on student accommodation, say in really good areas like Durham City or Jesmond, the Jesmond area of Newcastle. So it depends really where your property is, what it is, and if it's going to be desirable. Now, we sell obviously a lot of properties to investors, and you know, I deal with a lot of vendors, and they say, well, will it be attractive? Will my house be attractive? So then we do, you know, go through the research and everything, and we look at all the details, and you know, I'll speak to them and say, well, yes, it is attractive or it's not attractive. Do this every day. You know, if we get a really high priced one, new build in a residential area, say, what I mean by high priced, £100,000 plus, it's unlikely in the northeast it's going to achieve a high enough rental to get anywhere near 10%, because the rental market in the northeast is fairly limited. So, you know, in that case, it's not going to be likely that there's going to be a sale to an investor, and it's probably going to be a residential buyer, and this is a totally different market. We've got to be aware of that. Some properties will be attractive to both, but specifically under 70,000 in most areas of the northeast will be attractive to both. Above that, above 100,000, then you know, unless they're in really desirable areas where the yield is a little bit smaller, then highly unlikely they'll be, you know, attractive to investors. So you know, if I'm going to take an example, probably in Sunderland, an area we know quite well. You know, if we have one on a big estate there, say 150, 170,000, it's not going to sell to an investor. It's going to be a residential sale. Likewise, if we have one, you know, between 40 and 100,000, possibilities, it could be attractive to an investor, depending on what it is. So I always say we have to evaluate your house and you know, your situation, and I'll tell you, you know, if it will be of interest to investors or not. And if you want to have a chat about this any time, you know, feel free to give me a call. No obligation whatsoever. You've got my details below.